You have no idea how close you are to having that record income month, to growing the business to that number of clients. Just keep going. You got this. What's up? My name is Nat, and I am your mindset coach, here to support you in shifting your internal world so that you're showing up that much more powerfully in your external world, specifically in your online business. Today's teaching, we will be talking about discouragement. 6 different ways that I like to shift out of discouragement when I feel discouraged in my business. These are also 6 different ways that I've given to my clients numerous times. They work so well. You can use all of them. You can use one. Let's go ahead and let's dive in. But before we do that, really quick review. Last week's teaching was all about comparison, how to stop comparing yourself in a way that's hurting you and how to start comparing yourself in a way that's actually going to be uplifting. I know a lot of people don't really talk about how to use comparison in a way that's helpful. A lot of people just say, stop comparing yourself, and that doesn't work out so good for us. So I went ahead and taught you a different perspective on how to start utilizing comparison in a way that is going to actually be helpful. So I'll go ahead and I'll make sure that that is tagged right up here, and I would love to hear how it serves you. So let's dive into today's topic of discouragement. Discouragement is normal. As humans moving through our business, we're emotional beings, and so we're going to experience ranges of emotions as our businesses are having their ups and downs. And discouragement is a very common emotion and a very common place to be at when things don't really go your way. And the thing that I will say after running this business for 6 years is that you get better and better at dealing with discouragement. You get better and better at being able to shift out of it. You get better and better at being able to know yourself and know what you need whenever you're starting to maybe dip a little bit with how things are moving forward. So, step number 1 of how to start shifting discouragement into feeling a little bit more empowered. Step number 1 is remember your why. We get so caught up in the small little things in our business, the content, the sales, the lead generation. It's so easy to get caught in the day-to-day things that are moving us, that are the baby steps that are moving us forward. And we forget how those little things are connecting to the bigger picture things. We forget how those little things are connecting to where it is that we want to grow and what it is that we're building, short-term and long-term. So first thing that I want you to do if you're feeling discouraged is remind yourself of your why. Remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. Remind yourself of why it is that you're moving forward and why it is that you're building this business. Who are you doing it for? Why is it that you're doing this? Where have you received the inspired idea to pursue this? Is it something that you're doing because you want to support your family? You want to inspire not just your clients, but your clients' families as well? Are you doing it because you're trying to build an even bigger legacy? For me, one of my biggest whys is really seeing my parents and being so inspired by them. They are immigrants. They moved to this country from Romania in the late 1980s. They came with $120 in their pocket, barely speaking the language. And so I'm so motivated to continue to create an incredible life as a child of immigrants here in this country, so that I can also give back to them, so that I can also continue to build off of their bravery and build off of everything that they've done in this country. So I'm so incredibly motivated by that. And I remind myself of that when I have my dips. I remind myself of that when things are a little bit slow and not moving forward as quickly as I want to. And it gives me that additional boost that is not just surface level motivation, but it's a deeper level of a bigger picture motivation that I like to tap into when I'm feeling discouraged. So that's number 1. Number 2, ask for help. Ask for help when you're feeling discouraged. Maybe it's time to hire a mindset coach. I'm here for you if you need me. Maybe it's time to start getting therapy. You've been postponing it and you're like, okay, I'm noticing some emotional dips more consistently and getting more and more discouraged. Maybe it's time for therapy. Maybe it's time to start actually getting help with sales and with marketing. I coach in a couple really incredibly wonderful communities where they're teaching online business owners how to grow their businesses, marketing side of things, the lead gen side of things. If you want to know what those communities are, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to go ahead and refer you to them. I am more than happy to point you in the direction of someone who can help you with the logistics side of things in your business. But a lot of the time when we're discouraged, and it happens repeatedly, We don't want to ask for help because it makes us small or we think it makes us weak. But one of the best things we can do when we have a dip is to ask for help. And maybe it's not hiring someone to help you with your business. Maybe it's just leaning on your best friend, venting a little bit. Maybe it's asking for accountability from someone who you know is going to hold you accountable, finding a mentor. So just know that there's so much value in asking for help, and it's so much easier to move through slumps, and it's so much easier to move through the tough stuff when we have someone else right next to us helping us through it. So number 2 is ask for help. Number 3, remember that you're on your own journey. Please make sure, common phrase, I'm not exactly sure where this is from, and I have mentioned it before, so maybe I should figure out where this quote is from, but don't compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. When you're getting discouraged and you're comparing yourself to someone else or someone else that's running a similar business as you, and you notice that you're not as far along as them, really make sure that you're noticing, okay, I'm on my own journey and they're on their own journey. They've been doing it longer. They have a different life trajectory than me. They have a different past than me. So I'm just going to focus on my own journey and see my own journey as unique, and really be empowered by my journey and have patience and grace with my journey. This is your little reminder that if you haven't watched last week's teaching on comparison, this number 1 where you remember, or number 3 where you're remembering your own journey as you're discouraged, the comparison teaching is going to be really helpful. So I'll make sure to go ahead and tag that again here for you. So really know that comparison, and I talk about this in that teaching, it's something that if you're doing it destructively, where it constantly feels like you're falling short, when you're doing it destructively, it's going to constantly weigh you down, and it's not going to help with the discouragement. And there's a way to shift the comparison where you're more motivated, and I talk about that in that teaching. So just make sure, step number 3 to deal with discouragement is to remember that you're on your own journey and stop comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. Step number 4. This question is a game changer. This question has helped me immensely throughout the past several years, and I'm told repeatedly by other business owners that this question helps them so much to keep going. And if there's one main takeaway that I want you to take from this video, it's going to be to answer this question for yourself. And the question is, if you knew that success was inevitable, how would you keep moving forward? What would you do? How would you think? What will your actions be, and what would your mindset be? Because when we're discouraged and it seems like things aren't working out, the default is going to be, well, I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing, or I'm going to slow down. And then of course, our business isn't going to keep going how we want it to. Of course, we're going to be challenged. And so the best thing that we can do in moments of discouragement is to just keep going. And I'm someone who doesn't believe that failure exists. I believe that there's always growth opportunity, even when things don't turn out the way we want them to. And there's no such thing as failure. There's only opportunities for growth. And when you're going through tough stuff in your business, if you knew that success was inevitable as long as you kept going, how would you keep moving forward? Because a lot of us want to default and operate from doubt. A lot of us want to listen to those fears and those doubts, and then it gets in the way of our action taking, and we don't pursue our businesses as boldly as we did before. We let the discouragement, we let that feeling then impact our actions. But if we can shift our thoughts to inevitability, if we can shift our thoughts to, if my success is inevitable, as long as I keep going, what would I do and what would I think to keep going even if I am discouraged? What would I do and what would I think to shift how I'm feeling right now? Do that. So that's number 4. Answer that question, then do those things and think those thoughts. Step number 5, tap into your future self. This is called future pacing. I do this a lot for myself, and then I also have my clients do this a lot, where you're asking yourself, if my future self, who's making multiple 6 figures, 7 figures, multiple 7 figures in their business, 5-10 years from now, could come time travel back into this moment, tell me some words of advice, give me a little pep talk, give me a little boost, what would that future version of me say? What would that future version of me have to pour into me? What would they remind me of? And what would my future self tell me to keep moving forward in this slump. My future self would always tell me things like, Nat, just keep going. This little slump, this moment of discouragement is just a blip in time. Just keep going. Your next best month is right around the corner. Just keep going. You have no idea how close you are to having that record income month, to growing the business to that number of clients. Just keep going. You got this. We're going to get to our goal of multiple 6 figures, multiple 7 figures in several years. You just got to keep going. It's a no-brainer that you're going to do what you want, that you're going to achieve what you want. Just keep going. And when I access that future version of myself, it gives me a little boost. And it makes it so much easier to operate from my highest and best self, a future version of myself that's already successful, as opposed to trying to operate from my current self that's stuck in discouragement and feeling a little bit down about things. So that's number 5, tap into your future self. And number 6, the final one, really notice how far you've come. Really notice that you've probably overcome slumps before. And because you've overcome previous slumps of discouragement, that's proof that you can overcome this slump of discouragement. You have what it takes to keep going. And in this moment, recognize, what did you do in previous slumps? What would you do previously when you were discouraged? And how can you access the tools that are in your toolbox from that? And how can you apply them to now? How can you apply those tools of discouragement to get you out of this discouragement slump? You have so much within you. You have more knowledge, more tools, more awareness than you give yourself credit for. And chances are this isn't your first discouragement. Maybe you've experienced discouragement in a different part of your life or a different area that you're working on, but you can still transfer those tools and see that you can get through this one too. So those are the 6 steps. Let me just go over them really quick one more time. You can do all 6 of these, or you can just pick one. Pick one that really felt like it resonated and run with it, roll with it this week, and let me know how it goes. But number 1 is remember your why. Number 2 is ask for help. Number 3 is remember that you're on your own journey. Number 4, if you knew that success was inevitable, how would you keep moving forward? Number 5, tap into your future self. And number 6, notice how far you've come. Your homework is to pick one of these, or try all 6 of them if you really need an extra boost out of discouragement. And as always, I'm here to support you if you need a little extra help. One-on-one calls are available with me, and there's also one long-term coaching. I'll go ahead and I'll link that information down in the notes. I also have a free 5-day mental health reset. Would strongly recommend that to get you out of discouragement as well. And for those of you that are brand new to mindset, I do have a mindset Kickstart course, which would also be very beneficial for you in starting to really optimize the way that you're thinking so that your external world and your business gets to shine even brighter. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I love hearing from you. Keep up the great work, and I'll see you guys next week. Catch you later. Bye.